At just 16 years old, she was a single mother of twins, and everyone in the city of Al-Nujum mocked her. But one day, something happened that turned her shame into the greatest story of her life. What secret did Layla hold that later made her the first billionaire in the city? The hot afternoon sun shone on the public fountain in the heart of Al-Nujum. The place was full of women and children filling their water containers. Laughter and gossip filled the air, but one young woman stood apart from the rest. 16-year-old Layla struggled at the edge of the fountain. On her back was a baby tied with a faded shawl. In her arms, she held another, both crying and restless. With trembling hands, she tried to balance a heavy ceramic jar on her head, but her body shook with weakness. From nearby, the whispers began. At her age, she already has children. 2 of them. Who will marry her now? Even grown women struggle with one child. But look at her carrying twins like a punishment. The people around laughed. Some shook their heads. Others stepped aside as if shame followed Layla like a shadow. Layla heard it all. Her lips pressed tight, but her eyes filled with unshed tears. She bent again to lift the jar. The baby in her arm almost slipped. She caught him quickly, her breath heavy. At the far end of the fountain, 2 young women, Aisha and Samira, stood with buckets in their hands. They watched Layla in silence for a while. Then Aisha whispered to her friend, "Look at her. She can't carry both babies and that jar. Let's help her." Samira nodded. "Yes, she will fall if we don't. Let's go." They dropped their buckets and hurried toward her. "Sister, let us help you," Aisha said gently. Layla turned quickly, her eyes flashing with pain. "Don't touch me. Who sent you? Tell me who sent you." The babies cried louder. People nearby turned to look, whispering even more. "Nobody sent us," Samira said softly. "Please don't be afraid. We saw you struggling and we only want to help." "Yes," Aisha added. "We are not your enemies. We don't mock you. We just want to carry the jar for you." Layla's voice shook with pain. "Everyone laughs at me. Everyone calls me names. I don't need your pity." "It is not pity," Aisha said. "It is kindness. We are not like them. We don't laugh at you. We want to be your friends." Layla stared at them for a long moment. Then her voice dropped low. "Friends? Do I look like someone who deserves friends?" "Yes, you do," Samira replied firmly. "And today we will show you." Layla's hands trembled. Slowly, she lowered her eyes and let out a long sigh. "Fine, please carry it, but don't ever betray me." Aisha quickly lifted the heavy jar. Samira gently took one of the babies from Layla's tired arms. The people at the fountain fell silent. The same villagers who mocked her now watched in surprise as the 2 ladies walked beside Layla, carrying her burden with her. For the first time in a long while, Layla felt a small spark of warmth in her heart, the touch of true friendship. The promise and the price. Before the day of mockery at the fountain, Layla's life was very different. She had once been a bright girl with dreams in her heart. She wanted to finish school. She wanted a good life. But everything changed when her mother passed away after a short illness. At just 17, Layla was left alone in the world. No father, no mother, nobody to hold her when the nights were cold. In her pain, she leaned on Khalid, her childhood friend and classmate. He became her comfort. Every evening, they sat under the date palm tree after school talking about life. One evening, Layla asked softly, "Khalid, do you think our dreams will ever come true?" Khalid smiled and held her hand. "Yes, Layla, I will work hard. I will take care of you. We will build our life together." But comfort soon turned into a mistake. Their closeness went too far and Layla became pregnant. When she told Khalid, her voice shook with fear. "Khalid, what will we do now? Everyone will laugh at me. Khalid looked at her with tears in his eyes. Don't cry. I'll stand by you. I'll tell my parents. We'll carry this burden together. I promise. He kept his word. He went home and told them the truth. But instead of support, his parents shouted in anger. You have brought shame to this family, his father yelled. You have destroyed your education, his mother cried. They forced Khalid to drop out of school and said, since you decided to get a girl pregnant, you must now take care of her. You will go to Dubai and work. No more school for you. So, Khalid left for Dubai to work in a port. Before he traveled, he told Layla, be strong. I will send money. I will return. We will raise our child together. For the first time since her mother's death, Layla felt a little hope. She believed him. But weeks later, a letter arrived from the city. The words cut her heart into pieces. There had been an accident at the port. Khalid was gone. Layla fell to the ground, clutching the letter to her chest. God, why have you left me all alone? She cried. Her voice echoed in the empty night, but no one came to hold her. She had lost her mother. She had lost Khalid. And now she carried two lives inside her with no one to lean on. Still, Layla made a choice. She whispered to herself, I will keep this pregnancy even if the world hates me. I will not throw my children away. Months later, in pain and tears, Layla gave birth to twins, Omar and Tariq. But instead of joy, she was met with mockery. The villagers pointed whenever she walked by. At her age, 2 children already. What a shame. She has destroyed her own future. Yet Layla lifted her head high even when tears filled her eyes. She held her babies close and whispered a vow, my Omar, my Tariq, I will raise you with dignity. I will fight for you even if the whole world turns against me. And so began her journey. A teenage mother rejected by her people, but determined to protect her children at all cost. The battle for the land. Not long after Omar and Tariq were born, a new shadow entered Layla's life. It was her late mother's elder cousin, Uncle Hakim. During her mother's funeral, Uncle Hakim had taken charge of everything. He paid for supplies, gave orders, and spoke authoritatively as her only living relative. People praised him then, but now his real motive began to show. One afternoon, he came to Layla's small adobe hut. She was sitting on a low stool, rocking her twins to sleep. Uncle Hakim stood tall at the doorway, his hands behind his back. Layla, he began, his voice heavy. You are too young for this burden. You cannot raise 2 children alone. Tradition says family must step in. Hand the children over to me so they can be trained properly. It is for their good. Layla looked up slowly. Uncle Hakim, I thank you for the help you gave during Mama's burial. But these are my children. I will not hand them over to anyone. His eyes narrowed. Do not be stubborn. Think of your future. You are still a girl. If you give them to the elders, you can get married. You can have a new life. Tears filled Layla's eyes, but her voice was firm. My future is with Omar and Tariq. I will not give them up. Uncle Hakim paced for a moment, then spoke again. If you are truly thinking of them, then sign over that small plot of arid land near the city gate. I will use it for their upkeep. Do not forget it was your father's land. As family, I have a right to manage it. Layla rose to her feet, her baby stirring at the sound of her voice. No, uncle. That land is for my children. My father left it for us. I will not give it to you. Not now. Not ever. Uncle Hakim's face hardened, his lips pressed tight. You are disrespecting me, Layla. You will regret this. He stormed out of her hut. A week later, he returned, this time with 3 men from his compound. They stood at her door, their voices loud so the whole neighborhood could hear. custom gives us the right to take care of orphans," one of them shouted. "A small girl like you cannot raise 2 children." "Yes," Uncle Hakim added. "The land by the city gate must be put in my care. If not, these children will suffer. Is that what you want?" "Layla," the neighbors gathered, whispering among themselves. Some shook their heads in pity. Others waited to see if Layla would break, but Layla stepped outside with Omar in one arm and Tariq on her back. Her eyes were red, but her voice did not shake. "These are my children. This land belongs to them. I will not surrender them to you or to anyone. If you want to fight me, then fight, but I will never give them away." There was silence. The men exchanged glances. Uncle Hakim's jaw tightened with anger, but Layla stood her ground. That day she realized her battle was bigger than hunger and mockery. She was not only fighting poverty. She was also fighting those who wanted to strip her of the little she had left. The unthinkable choice. One morning, Tariq's body grew hot with fever. His tiny chest rose and fell too quickly. His cries were weak and painful. Layla's heart pounded. "No, no, my child. Please stay with me," she whispered as tears rolled down her cheeks. She tied Tariq to her back and carried Omar in her arms. Running barefoot, she hurried to the village clinic. Inside, she begged the doctor. "Please, my son is dying. Help me." The doctor checked Tariq and shook his head. "He needs urgent treatment, but you must deposit 5,000 dirhams first before we commence treatment." "No treatment without payment." Layla's mouth dropped open. 5,000. "Doctor, I don't have it. Please start the treatment. I will pay. I beg you." But the doctor's face was hard. "No money, no treatment. That is the rule." Tears filled Layla's eyes. She dropped to her knees. "Please save my child. They're all I have. Please." The doctor turned away. Tariq's cry grew weaker. Layla rushed out of the clinic, her whole body shaking with fear. She ran from house to house, knocking on doors, holding Tariq close. "Please help me. I don't want to lose my child," she cried. "Even if it's a small amount, please help me. The doctor insists I must make a deposit of 5,000 dirhams before he commences treatment." Some neighbors gave what they could. A few handed her coins, others shut their doors. Layla kept begging, her voice breaking. When Uncle Hakim heard that she was going around pleading for money, he smiled to himself. "Now is the time," he muttered. That evening, he came to her hut. His voice was calm, almost kind. "Layla, I heard about Tariq. I'm sorry. I can give you the 5,000 dirhams right here, right now." Layla's eyes lit up with hope. "Please, uncle, help me. My child is dying." Uncle Hakim's face hardened. "But there is one condition. The land by the city gate. Sign it over to me, and I will give you the money today." Layla's whole body froze. She looked at her sick child, then back at Uncle Hakim. "You want me to sell my father's land for my son's life?" "Yes," he replied coldly. "It is a small price to pay. Choose, Layla. The land or the child." Tears rolled down Layla's face. She fell to her knees. "Uncle Hakim, please do not use my pain against me. This land is all my children have left. I cannot give it away." "Then let the boy die," Uncle Hakim said, turning to leave. "No." Layla screamed, her voice breaking. Neighbors gathered at the sound of her cries. When they heard what happened, some were moved with pity. They dug into their small savings. Some gave 50 dirhams, others gave 100. Bit by bit, they scraped together the money. By morning, Layla ran back to the clinic. The deposit was paid. Tariq received treatment. Slowly, His breathing calmed and life returned to his little body. Layla held him close, her lips trembling as she whispered, "I will not lose any of my children. Not while I still breathe." But deep in her heart, she also knew something else. Uncle Hakim would never stop until he got the land. And what she did not know was that the same land he tried to snatch was the very key that would very soon change her life forever. The test of honesty. Not long after Tariq recovered, something happened in the city that no one expected. A man arrived quietly one evening. His name was Mr. Jamal. Many of the elders remembered him well. Over 20 years ago, when he was in his early 30s, he had left the country in search of a better life. People said he worked hard overseas, built a career, married, and raised a family there. Now, after so many years, he had returned. This time he was not coming back empty-handed. He had come to build a house for his elderly mother and also prepare for his wife and children who would soon be visiting the city for the first time. The news of his return spread quickly. Some people were envious, some were excited, others just waited to see the kind of man he had become. One bright morning, Mr. Jamal decided to take a walk around the area with his mother. The old woman was happy, her face glowing with pride. She showed him different lands she had bought over the years with the money he sent from abroad. "Look, my son," she said, pointing to a large piece of farmland. "This one I bought after you sent money the year your second child was born. And here," she added as they walked further. "This small plot near the city gate, it is also yours." Mr. Jamal smiled. The morning sun was rising higher and the weather grew hot. Sweat gathered on his forehead. He reached into his back pocket and pulled out a handkerchief to wipe his face. But as he did, something else slipped out of the same pocket. His leather pouch. Neither he nor his mother noticed. They kept walking, still talking about the lands and their plans. The pouch lay quietly on the dusty ground behind them. The leather was slightly open. Inside were foreign notes, local currency, and several important cards. No one knew yet that the pouch was there, but that pouch was about to create an encounter that would change someone's life forever. That same morning, Layla was on her way back from the public fountain. A 25L ceramic jar of water balanced carefully on her head. Tariq was tied to her back while she carried Omar in one arm as she walked. The sun was already hot, beating down on her tired body. Sweat rolled down her face, but she did not stop. This was her life. Every morning, she carried heavy water, her children, and her pain along the rough, narrow path home. As she walked slowly, she noticed something lying by the side of the road. She stopped. It was a black leather pouch. Layla frowned. "What is this?" she whispered. The pouch looked new, expensive, and foreign. It was the kind of thing nobody in that area could afford. She stood still, staring at it for a while. Her first thought was to ignore it. Maybe it belongs to someone dangerous, she told herself. If I pick it, people may say I stole it. After a while, she dropped the heavy jar of water on the ground and bent down slowly. With shaky hands, she picked it up. The leather was soft and smooth. It felt like something from another world. She opened it carefully. Her eyes widened. Inside were a few dirham notes, but also a lot of foreign currency she had never seen before. There were also several identification cards with pictures of a man she did not know. Her heart began to beat faster. Who could have left this kind of pouch here? She thought to herself. The person might not even know it has fallen. And it is clear this person does not live in this city. For a long moment she stood there, her mind turning in circles. She could almost hear the voices of the villagers in her head. If you take it home, they will call you a thief. If you leave it here, someone else will take it. But what if the owner comes back for it? Layla pressed the pouch into the fold of her wrapper, hiding it close to her body. She bent, lifted the heavy jar back onto her head, and adjusted Tariq on her back. With Omar still on her arm, she continued walking slowly home. Her thoughts were restless. She had no idea that the pouch she now carried would soon open a door that would change her life forever. The honest heart. When Layla finally reached home, she saw Aisha and Samira already waiting in front of her small hut. They had come to visit her. "Ah, you are back," Samira said with a smile. She quickly reached for the heavy jar on Layla's head. "Let me help you with this." "Thank you," Layla said softly, lowering her body so Samira could lift it down. Aisha stretched out her hands and carried Omar from Layla's arm. "Come here, small man," she said playfully, kissing the boy's cheek. For a moment, there was laughter between them. But Samira noticed something. Layla's eyes looked troubled. Even when she smiled, her face showed worry. "Layla," Samira asked gently. "Is something wrong? You look worried." Layla sighed deeply. She sat on the wooden bench outside her hut and pressed her hand on her chest. "My sisters, something happened on my way back from the fountain." "What is it?" Aisha asked quickly. Layla hesitated, then untied her wrapper carefully. From inside, she pulled out the black leather pouch while also untying little Tariq, who was still at her back. Aisha and Samira both leaned forward. "What is that?" Samira asked. "I found it by the roadside," Layla said. She opened the pouch, their eyes widened when they saw the money inside. A huge amount of foreign currency neatly arranged. And tucked beside it, some dirham notes and identification cards. "Oh my goodness," Samira whispered. "This money is more than anything I have ever seen in my life." Aisha's eyes caught one of the ID cards. She picked it up slowly. "Wait, I think I know who this is. Haven't you heard about the Al-Jamil family? That family whose son just returned from overseas after many years. They say he came back with plenty wealth." "Yes," Samira nodded. "I heard. People have been talking about him. So, this pouch must be his." They both looked at Layla. Silence filled the air for a while. Then Samira leaned closer. "Layla, what are you going to do now? I hope you are not thinking of returning this pouch. My dear, maybe this is God's way of helping you. This money is worth a fortune. You can raise your children with it. You can start a business." Layla's hands trembled. Her lips quivered. "But if I keep it, will it not bring trouble?" Aisha spoke softly. "It is true. This money can change your life. It can feed Omar and Tariq. But I cannot tell you to keep it. If you decide to return it, I will still stand with you. Whatever you choose, I will support you." Layla looked down at the pouch in her hands. Her fingers shook as she pressed it shut. Her voice was low, almost breaking. "I will take my time. I will think carefully before I decide what to do with this money." The three friends sat in silence for a moment. Then Samira laughed to ease the tension. "Well, whatever you decide. Don't forget to keep my own share of the money." They all laughed. But deep inside, Layla's heart was heavy. She knew this pouch was not just money. It was a test. A test that could either save her life or destroy it. A destiny unsealed. That same evening, Mr. Jamal was getting ready to step out. He reached for his pocket to pick his pouch, but it was not there. He frowned. He checked the table. He searched the bed. He turned over the chair cushions. Still nothing. "Where is this pouch?" he muttered. He pulled out the trousers he had worn that morning and searched every pocket carefully. Empty. Finally, with worry written on his face, he walked into the sitting room where his mother sat. "Mama," he said, his voice tight. "I cannot find my pouch. I have searched everywhere. There is something very important inside. A crucial document I folded in there. If I lose it, it will cost me greatly." His mother looked at him with concern. My son, calm down. Do not panic. You will find it. Let us keep faith. But Jamal shook his head. Mama, you don't understand. That pouch is not just about money. Without that document, my work here will be delayed. His mother placed her hand on his shoulder gently. We will pray. God will not allow it to be lost. Jamal sighed deeply, grabbed his car keys, and stepped outside. He entered his car and sat inside. At the other end of the city, Layla had spent the whole day thinking. She looked at her children as they played and whispered to herself, no amount of money is worth my peace. I will return the pouch. She tied Tariq to her back and carried Omar in her arms. With the pouch hidden in her wrapper, she walked towards the Al-Jamil family compound. Her heart pounded as she walked. Just before she reached the compound, she heard the sound of a car engine. She stepped aside quickly, clutching her children close. A shiny car drove past her, raising a little dust. Inside the car was Mr. Jamal, his face still heavy with worry. He was heading out, not knowing that the person carrying his missing pouch was only a few steps away. Layla stood still, her heart beating fast. Was that the owner? She thought. She wanted to call out, but the car had already gone far. She sighed and continued walking. When she finally entered the Al-Jamil compound, she saw an elderly woman sitting in front of the entrance door. It was Jamal's mother. Layla bent low in greeting. Good evening, Mama. The old woman smiled warmly. My daughter, how are you? How are the children doing? They are fine, Mama, Layla replied softly. After the pleasantries, she moved closer and lowered her voice. Mama, I heard your son, Mr. Jamal, came back. Yes, the old woman nodded with a proud smile. He just stepped out now. You missed him. Layla hesitated, then untied her wrapper slowly. She brought out the black leather pouch and placed it in Mama's hands. I found this on my way back from the fountain this morning. The woman's eyes widened. She opened it and saw everything inside. My daughter, my son has been searching for this since morning. You do not know what you have done. God bless you. You are such a good girl. Thank you so much. Layla lowered her head humbly. It is nothing, Mama. I only did what is right. The old woman squeezed her hand with gratitude. May the Lord reward you. Your children will never lack. Layla smiled faintly, carried her children, and turned to leave. She walked out of the compound quietly, not knowing that this single act of honesty was about to change her story forever. The promise of a new life. That night, when Mr. Jamal returned home, his mother was waiting for him at the entrance. In her hand, she held up the black leather pouch. My son, she said with a smile. Is this the pouch you were looking for? Jamal froze. His eyes widened in shock. He quickly stepped closer and took the pouch from her hands. Oh my goodness, Mama. Where did you find it? His voice shook with relief as he opened it and checked inside. Everything was still there. The money, the documents, nothing missing. Jamal dropped into a chair, pressing the pouch against his chest. Mama, you don't understand. This pouch carries a document I can't lose. If I'd lost it, it would have cost me a lot. Tell me, how did you find it? His mother smiled and gestured for him to sit properly. Calm down, my son. Let me tell you the story. Jamal leaned forward eagerly. His mother began. Earlier today, after you left, a young girl came here. She carried 2 babies, one tied to her back and one in her arms. She bent down and greeted me with respect. Then she pulled this pouch from her wrapper and gave it to me. She said she found it on the road near the city gate. Jamal raised his head quickly. A young girl. Who is she? His mother's eyes softened. Her name is Layla. She is only 17, an orphan. She lost both parents. People in this city mock her every day because she has 2 children at her age. But in all her suffering, she returned what was not hers. The old woman's voice grew strong. My son, that girl is honest and she is kind. Jamal was silent for a moment, his eyes fixed on the pouch, his heart was moved. So, the same girl everyone talks about, the one they laugh at. Yes, his mother nodded. The same one. They call her names. They shame her. But today, she proved that her heart is pure. Jamal leaned back, a mix of relief and pity on his face. Mama, this world is strange. The people we despise may be the ones with the greatest hearts. If this girl had kept the pouch, I wouldn't have known, but she brought it back. His mother reached for his hand gently. Tomorrow, you must visit her. You must thank her yourself. She deserves it. Jamal nodded firmly. Yes, Mama. Tomorrow, I will go to her. That girl has done something no one else would have done. I will not forget it. He held the pouch tightly in his hands. But in his heart, it was not just about the pouch anymore. It was about the young mother who chose honesty over temptation. And as the night grew quiet, Jamal's mind was filled with only one thought, meeting Layla. The unfolding destiny. The next morning, Mr. Jamal woke up early. He asked his mother, Mama, where does the young girl live? The one who returned my pouch. His mother gave him directions and added softly, be kind to her, my son. She has suffered enough. Jamal nodded, then entered his big black SUV and drove straight to Layla's compound. Meanwhile, Layla had just stepped out of her small hut. Omar and Tariq were still sleeping. She was about to sweep the compound when her eyes caught sight of a huge black SUV parked quietly outside. Her heart skipped. Who could this be? She thought. Inside the truck, a man was seated, watching her. It looked as if he had been waiting there for a long time. Slowly, the door of the truck opened and Mr. Jamal stepped out. He was tall, well-dressed, and his face carried both strength and kindness. Layla quickly bent her knees in greeting. Good morning, sir. Jamal gave a small smile. So, you are the good Samaritan who returned my pouch yesterday? Yes, sir, Layla answered softly, her lips forming a faint smile. Jamal took a step closer, his eyes studying her carefully. My mother told me about you. She told me how you have suffered. How people mock you every day. And yet when you found my pouch, you returned it without touching a single thing. Even the local currency inside, you did not take it. He paused, his voice heavy with emotion. I was in awe. You are a good girl. You don't deserve the pain you are going through. And to think you are just about the age of my own daughter. Layla's eyes filled with tears. Her lips trembled, but she said nothing. Jamal reached into his pocket and pulled out an envelope. He held it out to her. From today, you will no longer carry this burden alone. Take this money. Use it for yourself and your children. Think carefully about what you would like to do with your life. When you are ready, come to me. I will help you. Layla fell to her knees, clutching the envelope with both hands. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Thank you, sir. Thank you. May God bless you. May your children never suffer. Jamal bent slightly and touched her shoulder gently. Stand up, my daughter. This is only the beginning. Layla stood, her eyes still wet with tears. For the first time in a long while, hope filled her heart. The billion-dollar idea. Days later, Aisha and Samira came again to visit Layla. They found her seated outside her hut, a basin in front of her, washing Omar and Tariq's clothes. The sun was warm and the boys played nearby laughing as they splashed water. Ah, our friend, Samira called out happily. How are you today? Layla smiled. I am fine, my sisters. You are welcome. They exchanged greetings and sat with her. Almost immediately, Samira leaned forward, her eyes full of curiosity. Layla, tell me that pouch, what did you finally do with it? I hope you did not return it. Layla looked at her and smiled playfully. Sorry to disappoint you, my dear friend. I returned the pouch that same day. Samira threw her hands up. Ah, Layla. You and this your holy heart. But Aisha nodded her head firmly. You did the right thing. Even if you had used the money to start a business, it would not have lasted. Money that does not belong to you cannot bring peace. It would only bring problems later. Layla nodded slowly. Yes, that is true. Then she leaned closer and lowered her voice. But let me tell you what happened after. The very next morning, the man himself came to my house. He appreciated me. He gave me some money and told me to take my time and think about what I would like to do with my life. He promised to sponsor me. Aisha and Samira's faces lit up with joy. Layla, this is wonderful. Samira said, clapping her hands. So what business will you do now? Layla sighed. I don't know yet. I have not been able to come up with any idea. The three friends sat in silence for a moment. Then Aisha spoke up. What about camel milk production? Layla looked at her curious. Camel milk? Yes, Aisha continued. I have a cousin in the next town. His farm produces over 50 liters of milk every day. Imagine selling that at 50 dirhams per liter. Do you know how much that is? It is big money. Samira's eyes widened. That is true. Camel milk is a delicacy and is very expensive in the city. People cannot do without it. Aisha leaned closer. Layla, you already have a piece of land you can use for it, the land by the city gate. Yes, it will need a lot of money to start, but if that man is ready to sponsor you, then this is the perfect business. Layla was quiet for a while, thinking, the only sound was the laughter of her children in the background. Finally, she looked at her friends with tears in her eyes. This sounds like a perfect idea. Thank you so much, Aisha. Thank you, Samira. You both are truly God's gift to me. I don't know what I would have done without you. The three friends held hands and smiled at each other. But deep in Layla's heart, she knew this was more than just friendship. This was the beginning of a plan that could change her life forever. The courage to risk. That night, the city was quiet. The moonlight slipped through the cracks of Layla's little hut. Omar and Tariq were already fast asleep beside her on the mat, their soft breathing filling the room. But Layla could not sleep. Her eyes stayed open, staring upward. Her mind was troubled. She kept thinking about what Aisha had suggested earlier in the day. Camel milk production. Her heart beat faster as her thoughts grew louder. I have heard stories, she whispered to herself. They say camel farming is delicate. A small sickness can wipe out the whole herd in 1 week. What if I try and I fail? What if I lose everything? What if this one chance I have to change my life is wasted? She turned to look at her sleeping children. Omar turned slightly, his small hand brushing her arm. Tariq breathed softly against her shoulder. Layla's eyes filled with tears. I cannot fail them, she thought. This is not just about me. It is about them. Her thoughts kept running wild. She pressed her palms together and whispered into the quiet night, God, please help me. Show me the way. I don't want to make a mistake. For a while, she stayed silent, her heart still restless. Then suddenly, a memory returned to her. It was from a book she once read back in school. She could still hear the words clearly in her head. The biggest risk is not taking any risk. Her eyes widened. Slowly, she sat up on the mat. She looked again at her children and wiped her tears. Yes, she whispered with new strength in her voice. I cannot keep running in fear. If I don't try, then I have already failed. I will do it. I will go for it. In that moment, her mind was made up. She decided that she was going to meet Mr. Jamal the next day to share her decision with him.